So we're nearing the final chapter of Fairy Tail, and so I felt I should make a prediction on what I believe is going to be the end of the series, even though most people have a pretty good idea of what is going to happen. I mean, there are a few ways that the series could be ending really, and what I'll be talking about is of course what I think is going to happen in this chapter. So without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? So the series has now, as we know, reached its finale, and we're probably going to have some kind of an epilogue chapter, but how is things going to go down, and just what are we going to be seeing within this chapter before Fairy Tail comes to an end? Well, it's not really the end, I guess, but at least the end of this series. It'll be continuing in whatever form, but in this chapter I think we are going to be seeing the rebuilding of Fiore, because the aftermath is quite devastating. Not only did they have to deal with Alvarez, but also on top of that, Magnolia decided to nuke the entire continent at one point, so there is a lot of damage to be repaired and a lot of wounds to be treated. So I think we'll be having some of that, especially given how many times in the past we've seen the guild hall being repaired and rebuilt. So this will pretty much be one final time of that, just on a much larger scale, because obviously Fiore as it is right now, it's not exactly intact. Most buildings are probably partially or even completely crushed, and if it's the end of the series, I bet we'll be seeing things go back to the way it was before the war. Naturally, we'll also kind of be seeing some sort of a wrap up of all of the ships. I mean, it's going to happen, let's face it. If that doesn't happen, we'll all be fucking surprised beyond anything else, because that is the one thing that Hiro has been sacrificing a lot for. He sacrificed plot and a big portion of the fan base to make it happen, so yeah, I think it's safe to assume that all of the ships will end up together in this chapter regardless of what we may think of it. Obviously Gray is going to tell Juvia what he feels, since he did promise Juvia that he would before the war actually started. And Gal is already confirmed, so I guess we don't really need that to be confirmed really. The one ship that will probably be a thing though is Nalu, because that is the one ship that a lot of people have been hyping up for whatever reason. I personally don't see it, but everyone else seems to, including Hiro himself, so expect some smooching, I guess. I do however think that at the very end of the chapter, that is when things could go a few different ways, because at the end of 544 we had his hints suggesting a next generation type series, and if that is to happen, I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to be having some kind of time skip nearing the end of the next chapter, showing everyone all grown up and potentially with children. Another way it could go down however is of course that Natsu and the team go on a new adventure, a final adventure before the end. One that we probably won't be seeing of course, but we'll see the very beginning of this. If that happens, there is hope that the next generation doesn't actually happen, but rather that we'll be getting either a spin-off or a sequel kind of series of the new adventures. This is something that I would actually be reading, because well, while it's not going to repair the damage of the Alvarez arc, depending on how it ends up being, I could like it. I'm not exactly that picky, to be honest. Like, the Alvarez arc was about the only thing that I would consider something that I really got angry at. No other arc in the entire series did the same to me. In fact, I liked pretty much every other arc, arguably not Tartarus, but let's not talk about that. So yeah, if we do get a new adventure, it will be interesting if it actually ends up hinting what adventure it will be, like if it will be the search for Aquarius' key or just a brand new adventure. Anyway, I'll be ending the video here. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. I know it's a bit short, but I'll be making a big video on Fairy Tail after the final chapter, so look forward to that. And as always, if you did, please like this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new to my channel. This has been your favorite host, Perm, and I'll see you soon.